This is Jamaica before independence. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going back in time to explore Jamaica before independence. From its rough start as a plantation colony of the British Empire to its path towards freedom, this is a journey through a significant chapter of Jamaican history. The year is 1655. The British, under the command of Admiral Penn and the Duke of Albemarle, captured Jamaica from the Spanish. The Spanish had colonized it just a few decades earlier. Jamaica officially became a colony of the British Empire. And because sugar was such a profitable commodity in high demand in Europe, the British quickly set about expanding the existing plantation system across the island. This rapid expansion led to the need for a large labor force, which the British would tragically meet by importing enslaved Africans. The entire Jamaican economy revolved around the production of sugar, which was considered the white gold of the empire. The riches generated by Jamaica's sugar plantations were legendary, leading to an increase in wealth and power for the British Empire. However, this prosperity came at a terrible cost. The enslaved Africans were subjected to brutal working conditions. They toiled long hours in the hot sun, were punished harshly for any mistakes, and had very few rights. Life on the plantations was hard and dangerous. But despite the hardships, the enslaved Africans never gave up hope. Many of them escaped and formed small communities in the hills and mountains. The British called them Maroons. These Maroons fought back against the British with guerrilla warfare tactics, which would become a major headache for the empire. Enslaved people also rebelled. Some of the most important rebellions were Tacky's rebellion in 1760 and Sam Sharp's rebellion in 1831. While these rebellions didn't always succeed, they challenged British dominance and helped pave the way for the eventual abolition of slavery. Slavery was finally abolished in Jamaica in 1834, with full emancipation coming in 1838. But rather than being freed into a life of opportunity, former slaves found themselves in a very difficult situation. They were extremely poor, landless, and had limited options. The British created what they called the apprenticeship system. In this system, former slaves were made to work on the plantations for several years, under the same conditions they had faced when enslaved. It was a way for the British to maintain control while ensuring a cheap labor force to run the plantations. Although the apprenticeship system ended in 1844, its effects and the legacy of slavery lingered on in Jamaican society. The British also entrenched a racial and social hierarchy, dividing society between the wealthy white elite, the newly free but impoverished black majority, and a small group of mixed-race Jamaicans known as coloreds, who had their own set of privileges and restrictions. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, Jamaica was still very much a British colony. Life during this period was vastly different depending on where you lived. British influence was strong in education, religion, dress, and government. Missionaries and the colonial government set up schools with the aim of instilling discipline and obedience. Life in rural areas remained harsh for most people. But Kingston was developing an urban culture. Working-class Jamaicans began forming trade, unions, and political movements, fighting for better conditions and representation. This growing awareness would later evolve into a full-blown push for independence. During this time, a national identity began to grow. Education, migration, and a rising sense of black consciousness exposed Jamaicans to different ways of life and inspired change. Leaders like Marcus Garvey, Norman Manley, and Alexander Bustamante emerged as key voices in the fight for Jamaica's future. Garvey emphasized black pride and economic empowerment. Manley focused on political representation. Bustamante brought the power of trade unionism. Together, they laid the groundwork for a new Jamaica. During and after World War II, the desire for independence reached a peak. Jamaicans had contributed to the war effort and now wanted a greater say in how they were governed at home. In 1944, universal adult suffrage was introduced, meaning every adult in Jamaica could now vote. It was a major step forward. In 1959, Jamaica achieved internal self-government. And finally, on August 6, 1962, Jamaica declared full independence from Britain. After more than 300 years of colonial rule, Jamaica was now a free nation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Let us know in the comments what you found most interesting about Jamaica before independence. We'll see you next time.